you're wasting time, you cannot be jealous of somebody who's out there going to go get after whatever their dreams are if you're wasting time. If you're scared to execute on ideas, you can't hate on the person who's executing on their ideas and say that should be me when you're not willing to put in the work. Hey, family. This is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode 122. 122 weeks of consistency, 122 weeks of getting it done. As always, we outside. If you are a first-time listener, watcher, subscriber, thank you so much for joining us. On this podcast, we talk about faith, family, and finances, among other things. If you are a return listener, watcher, subscriber, thank you so much for joining us again. Hopefully, we are adding value to your lives on the way to the M's, because as always, we are on the way to the M's. So today we're going to talk about some stuff, and we may be stepping on some people's toes, but that's okay. Some people's toes need to get stepped on their journey to where they want to go financially. And today we're going to talk about rich versus poor, or rich versus financially challenged, however you want to call it. And I think that some people think that there's this huge gap between rich people and financially challenged people or poor people. And I'm here to tell you that there are just a few minor tweaks that need to be made in order for you to be on the other side of your financially challenged life that you're currently living. And I just want to let you guys know that if you make these few tweaks, this will help jumpstart you on your journey if you're struggling. And I believe that these things will help you because along the way, along my personal wealth building journey, I learned a lot of the things that I was doing wrong. And it's been well documented on this podcast that I went to an affluent high school, although when I went back home, I didn't see affluency. Even if that's a word, I don't know, but it sounded good. But the thing about it is that I had a tendency to be jealous and hate on the people that I saw at school. And if the truth be told, if I was hating on them because they had the things that I wanted, then realistically, I was being jealous. And so that's one of the things that I learned as I'm coming up, that jealousy is one of the emotions, the things or the traits that financially challenged people may face. So that's number one, jealousy. The difference between wealthy people, rich people, or financially challenged people is that financially challenged people have a tendency to be jealous of other people. And so what I learned is that wealthy people, and talking to different people, people who have money, and even on my journey, that wealthy people want to give you information if you ask them for it. But when I was coming up, I would say, oh, well, look at this person. Who do they think they are to drive this nice car and things of that nature? But as I'm growing up now and I'm getting older, I'm seeing that, hey, if I just ask this person how they did what they did, then once they answer me, then I can make the determination if I'm willing to do what they did to get to where they are. So before you're jealous, before you start talking a negative about the person whose shoes you would like to be in, ask them. Like, we live in a society today where we have access to a lot of people. So even if that person who you're reaching out to doesn't respond, there are many other people that you can reach out to that are where you want to be, that will respond and ask and answer your question. Hey, how did you get to where you wanted to be? Prime example. Um, if you're new to this podcast, I talked about this before, that I went to church many, many years ago, Season Greatness Bible Church in Newcastle, Delaware. And one of the wealthier couples stood up, Rick and Charlotte Edwards. They stood up in front of the church and they were testifying about um, how they paid for cars cash, they paid for their houses cash. And I'm looking at them like they're an alien. Like, because to me, that was foreign. Like, who does that? Who pays for things cash like that except, a beater that may be $5,000 or $3,000, whatever the case may be. But instead of the jealousy, because I did have a little like, yo, how did they do what they did? It wasn't jealousy, but I thought to myself, like, look, if I want to be where they are, because I would like to do that, why don't I go up to them and ask them? So I did. So I went up and I said, hey, would you mentor me? Absolutely. Yes, I will. Bet. Got his number. And then we talked a few times. And then I understood what he did to get to where he was. So instead of me hating, being jealous, whatever the case may be, and I wasn't in a good financial place. Like we were doing okay, but nowhere where we're at right now, right? And this had to been 12, 13 years ago. So I asked them, gave me the game, and boom, we were on our way. And so what I want to tell you is if you see somebody doing well, celebrate them. Celebrate with them, a friend, a family member, because your turn is coming right around the corner. And if you start doing well, the same energy that you give out is the same energy that you'll receive. So I'm saying all that to say that that little minor tweak of rejoicing with those that rejoice, being happy for somebody who's doing well, and understanding that you can use them as a like a mile marker saying, hey, well, if God blessed them with X thing or X things, then why wouldn't he do the same thing for me? You ask them how they did what they did, and then you can make the determination if you're willing to do what they did to get to where they are. Or you can make little variations of what they did, and maybe it may take you a little bit longer, but you'll still get the end result. The second thing that I want to talk about is time. Wealthy people, from what I'm finding out doing my research and along my journey, is they spend their time wisely. And the thing about it is, like, if you know more about the Diddy trial than you do of how long and how far away you are from your journey, that's a problem. And I understand, I get it. Like, we all want to be entertained at some point in time, but we don't want to get so engulfed in the nonsense things that have nothing to do with you getting to where you want to be, putting your family in a better situation, putting yourself in a better situation. It doesn't make sense that you know more about what athlete is doing X thing or who's sleeping with whose baby mom and different things of that nature. Like, at the end of the day, I understand it's entertainment, but that is not helping you to get to where you want to go. Baby, you might want to cut some of that time down and feed your mind some good things. I've learned so much over these last few years, just from reading books, that my when I first started, it was 20 minutes a day. I was reading a book that was like a self-help financial book or something that was going to help me. 20 minutes, because I wasn't used to reading, so it was a challenge for me to read for a long period of time. So I just started with 20 minutes a day. So what that meant was is I turned the TV off because I was engulfed in those things too. Like, truth be told, like a while back. But as I started reading books and started to understand that instead of filling my mind with junk and clutter and start filling it with stuff that was actually going to help me be a better man, be a better father, be a better husband, be a better business person, and to get me to where I want to go, then I was able to cut those things off and it not affecting me if I didn't know what was going on out there in tabloid world and things of that nature. So that then allowed me to shift my focus to now instead of watching TMZ or whatever gossip news station that was on at the time, I started watching things like CNBC or YouTubes of people who were where I wanted to be so I can learn from them and get to where I want to go faster. So, where are you spending your time? Is your time being spent wisely? And I'm not saying that you have to spend all of your time watching these programs or reading books all the time. I'm not saying that. But if you start shifting your focus and start utilizing your time and feeding your mind better things, then I'm telling you, it'll be easier to put the junk, a lot of the junk down. So hopefully that makes sense. And I know I'm stepping on toes because I'm feeling uncomfortable even saying this stuff. So I know I'm walking down a couple people's street, and again, I used to live on the street, so I get it. The third and final thing that I wanted to talk about is idea execution. A lot of financially challenged people play it safe. They're scared to, they have an idea and then they're scared to execute on the idea. And I'm talking to myself too. But what I'm finding is that as I stepped out to do things that made me uncomfortable, that made me a better person because it made me understand that, hey, if I can tackle this one fear, what else can God help me with? Prime example, the podcast. Podcast is 122 episodes. The first few episodes were awful. However, I kept going. And then I got more comfortable being in front of the camera, which wasn't necessarily comfortable for me. Now, do I have more things to work on? 1000%. Going live and doing all these different things to get myself further out there is something that's uncomfortable for me. So that's another thing I have to conquer. But doing one thing gives you the belief, gives you the hope that you can do more things that make you uncomfortable. Putting myself out there with helping people, families with their finances. The thought is, or the little gremlin that's in my head or was in my head, like, yo, who do you think you are to help anybody with their finances? Because my thought was, is that somebody is going to think that I'm better than them. That's what's playing in my head. But because I pushed past the fear on a few things, then now I'm able to push past the fear on other things because now I have the belief that if God helped me to overcome one thing, I can then overcome other things. So it's more of a domino effect if you push past the fear. It was fearful for me to invest my own money, but I'm so glad that I did. Once you push past the fear of loss and you start doing research of how you can invest your money and whether it be stocks or whether it be real estate or whether it be in a business. Like if you do your own real estate, I'm sorry, if you do your own research and then launch out on a small scale, then it's easier to do the incremental launches and just keep launching and then put more money into the market or put more money into the business or put more money into the vehicle that's going to bring you a return. So financially challenged people may be more comfortable putting their money in a savings account. And if that's where you are, that's a good start. But once you start seeing, if you're in a high yield savings account and you start seeing your account growing, then you're like, okay, well, if I did this and I did my research on the high yield savings account, if I did this, then if I do my research on a company that I believe in and they have good management and they have good returns over the years, then why can't I put $10, $15, $100 in into my budget, then put it into the market and then see what happens and do it consistently. And if you can do that, that will take you from being financially challenged into or being closer to being wealthy or being rich, which is where you may want to be. So if we make those few minor tweaks, then that can be the difference of us being financially challenged to us being closer to being wealthy or to being rich, if that's what you choose to be. But what I'll tell you is, I was once jealous. I was once a time waster, and I was once scared to execute on ideas. But now I'm not. And because of that, with God's help again, I'm on the other side. Not where I want to be, but I'm closer to where I want to be and further away from where I used to be. So that's the episode. I wanted to just drop in and give you guys some encouragement because it's you guys are closer and we all are closer, not just you guys, me too. We're all closer to being wealthy than we were yesterday, but we have to put some things in place. We have to stop doing some things or limit our time doing things that are pushing us further away from where we want to be. And if we can do that, then if you look back, if you look from now until next year, or you look back a year, if you start, then you'll see that you're a lot closer to where you want to be. So, my charge to you, my challenge to you is to go get it. You don't necessarily have to do everything all at once. You don't have to do all three of those things at once, but start with one. If you're a jealous person, um, stop it, cut it out, because your turn is coming. There's going to be a time where people or you're going to want people to celebrate you because you won in something, and because you were jealous and because you were a hater, then you're going to have nobody to celebrate you. If you're wasting time, you cannot be jealous of somebody who's out there going to go get after whatever their dreams are. If you're wasting time, if you're scared to execute on ideas, you can't hate on the person who's executing on their ideas and say that should be me when you're not willing to put in the work. So that's all I got. So thank you so much for tuning in. Wealth is a journey. We will see you next week. Peace.